Marcus Chen sat with his back against the cold concrete wall. The morning sun was just starting to come up over the buildings in Los Angeles. He had been living under this overpass for 8 months now. 8 long months of watching the world go by while he stayed in the same spot. His leg hurt. It hurt so much that he could barely think about anything else. 3 weeks ago, he had cut his leg on a piece of metal while looking for cans to recycle. At first, it seemed like a small cut. Nothing to worry about. But then it got worse. The cut turned red, then purple. Now his whole leg was swollen and hot to touch. He knew this was bad. Really bad. Marcus was 52 years old. Just 2 years ago, he had a completely different life. He lived in a small house with his wife, Sarah. They had been married for 28 years. She was his best friend, his everything. They raised 2 children together. Life was not perfect, but it was good. Marcus worked in construction. He built homes for other people. The work was hard, but he took pride in it. Then Sarah got sick. Cancer. The word that changed everything. They fought it together for 2 years. Hospital visits, treatments, medications. Marcus stayed by her side through all of it. He held her hand during the chemotherapy sessions. He cooked her favorite meals even when she could not eat. He told her every day that she would beat this, but she did not beat it. Sarah died on a cold January morning. Marcus held her hand as she took her last breath. A part of him died that day too. The medical bills came next, thousands and thousands of dollars. Their insurance covered some of it, but not enough. Never enough. Marcus used all their savings. He sold their car. He borrowed money from friends. But the bills kept coming. The hospital did not care that his wife was gone. They just wanted their money. Then Marcus lost his job. The construction company was cutting costs. They let go of the older workers first. Marcus was one of them. He tried to find other work, but he was 50 years old with a tired body and a broken heart. No one wanted to hire him. He could not pay the mortgage on the house. The bank sent letters. Many letters. Marcus tried to explain his situation. He asked for more time. But banks do not care about sad stories. They took the house. The home where he and Sarah had lived for 15 years. The home where they raised their children. Gone. Marcus had 2 options. He could call his daughter Jennifer in Oregon. She was a teacher with her own family. Or he could call his son Daniel in Nevada. He worked as a mechanic. Both of them had offered to help after their mother died. But Marcus felt too ashamed. He was supposed to be the father, the one who helped them. How could he ask his children for money? How could he admit that he lost everything? So he said nothing. He stopped answering their calls. He told himself it was better this way. They could move on with their lives. They did not need to worry about their broken father. That is how Marcus ended up under the overpass. At first he thought it would be temporary. Just a few weeks until he figured things out. But weeks turned into months. The street was harder than he expected. Finding food was a daily struggle. Staying safe was harder. Other homeless people were kind sometimes, but other times they were dangerous. Marcus learned to keep to himself. He learned to be invisible. The people walking by never looked at him. They walked past with their eyes on their phones or straight ahead. Marcus held up cardboard signs. Please help, hungry. Anything helps. God bless. People stepped around him like he was a piece of trash on the sidewalk. Some people looked angry, like his presence upset them. A few people gave him money or food. But most people pretended he did not exist, Marcus understood. He used to be like them. When he had his old life, he walked past homeless people too. He told himself they probably made bad choices. They probably spent money on drugs or alcohol. He told himself that if they really wanted help, they could go to a shelter. Now he knew the truth. Life could break anyone. Good people ended up on the streets all the time. And shelters were not always safe. Some were full. Some had people who would steal from you or hurt you. Now his leg was infected. Marcus knew he needed a hospital. But he was afraid. What if they asked for identification? What if they asked how he would pay? What if they called the police? He had heard stories of homeless people being treated badly at hospitals. He did not want to deal with that shame, but the pain was getting worse. Marcus could barely walk now. He felt hot all over. His body was fighting something, and it was losing. He knew that if he did nothing, this infection could kill him. He had already lost everything else. Was he about to lose his life too? That morning, Marcus made a decision. He needed help, real help, but he did not know how to ask for it anymore. His cardboard signs did not work. People did not care about words on signs. There were too many homeless people with signs. Everyone was asking for help. How could he make someone actually see him? Marcus looked around at the ground. He found a stick near the wall. It was about 2 feet long and had a sharp end. He dragged himself to a flat area of dirt near the sidewalk. The pain in his leg screamed with every movement, but he kept going. Then Marcus started to draw in the dirt. He made the letters big and clear. SOS, the International Distress Signal. Everyone knew what it meant. Help, emergency, someone is in danger. He drew each letter carefully. The S was about 3 feet tall. The O was the same. The second S matched the first. When he finished, Marcus crawled back to his spot against the wall. He positioned himself where he could see the signal. Then he waited. Cars drove by. The traffic was heavy during morning rush hour. People walked to work. They passed within feet of the SOS signal. But no one stopped. No one even looked down. A businessman in a suit stepped right over the O while talking on his phone. A woman with a coffee cup walked past while checking her messages. A group of teenagers laughed and talked, completely unaware. Marcus felt the hope draining from his body along with his strength. Maybe this was a stupid idea. Maybe no one would ever notice. The world did not want to see him. He was invisible. The SOS signal was invisible too. Hours passed. The sun got higher in the sky. Marcus's fever made everything feel like a dream. He closed his eyes sometimes, then forced them open. He was so tired. His body wanted to give up. But something inside him refused to quit. Not yet, not today. People kept walking by. Hundreds of them. Maybe thousands. Marcus lost count. The SOS stayed in the dirt, a silent scream that no one could hear. Marcus thought about Sarah. What would she say if she could see him now? She would be so sad. But she would also tell him to keep fighting. Sarah never gave up, even when the cancer was winning. She fought until her last breath. Marcus owed it to her memory to do the same. The traffic light at the corner turned red. More cars stopped. More people crossed the street. The world rushed by in its hurry to get somewhere important, and Marcus Chen sat against the wall, invisible to everyone. His life slowly slipping away while his SOS signal lay in the dirt, waiting for someone, anyone, to notice. John Cena woke up at 5:30 in the morning. This was normal for him. He had been waking up early his whole adult life, first for wrestling training, then for WWE matches, now for movie shoots and business meetings. His body did not know how to sleep late anymore. He was staying at a hotel in downtown Los Angeles. The bed was comfortable and the room was nice, but John did not care much about luxury. He grew up in a working-class family in Massachusetts. His father was in the military. His mother worked hard to raise 5 boys. They did not have much money, but they had discipline and respect. Those values stayed with John his whole life. John got dressed in his workout clothes, black shorts, a t-shirt, and running shoes. He looked at his phone. Already 10 messages from his manager, 3 from his publicist, 5 emails about meetings and appearances. This was his life now. Always busy, always in demand. Sometimes he missed the simpler days when he was just a wrestler trying to make it. He grabbed his gym bag and headed out. The hotel gym was nice, but John preferred to go to a real gym. He liked working out with regular people. It kept him grounded. It reminded him that fame was not real life. Real life was people working hard, trying to pay their bills, taking care of their families. John drove his own car through the streets of Los Angeles. His team always offered to get him a driver, but he said no. He liked driving. It gave him time to think. It also let him see the city in a real way, not from the back of a fancy car with tinted windows. The gym was across town. John took a different route than usual. Construction had closed his normal street. He turned down roads he did not know well. The neighborhood changed. Fewer tall buildings, more small businesses, some boarded up, some open. He saw people waiting at bus stops, workers heading to early morning shifts. This was the Los Angeles that tourists did not see. John worked out hard for 90 minutes. Weights, cardio, stretching. His body was older now, 48 years old. He had to take care of it better than when he was young. All those years of WWE matches had taken their toll. His knees hurt sometimes. His back too, but he kept training. It was part of who he was. After the gym, John got back in his car. He was supposed to go straight back to the hotel. He had a meeting at 9 with producers about a new movie, but John was hungry. He decided to find a small diner for breakfast. He liked places where regular people ate, not the fancy restaurants where celebrities went to be seen. He drove through the streets looking for a good spot. His phone rang. It was his manager. John let it go to voicemail. Then it rang again. He sighed and answered it. "John, we need to move the 9 o'clock meeting to 8:30, his manager said. "The producers have another meeting after yours." "That is fine," John said. "I will be there." "Where are you now?" his manager asked. "Looking for breakfast," John said. "John, we can have breakfast brought to your hotel room. You do not need to be driving around, I know," John said. "But I want to," his manager sighed. She was used to this. John did things his own way. It was part of his personality. Stubborn, independent. He did not like being treated like he was too important to do normal things. John ended the call and kept driving. He came to a red light and stopped. While he waited, he looked out his window. The morning sun was bright now. People were everywhere, walking to work, standing at bus stops, living their lives. Then John saw something in the dirt near the sidewalk. 3 letters, big letters drawn with a stick or something. SOS. John's attention locked on those letters. His father had been in the military. John grew up hearing stories about the service. He knew what SOS meant. It was not something people wrote as a joke. It was a distress signal. It meant someone needed help, real help, emergency help. John looked around. Where was the person who wrote this? His eyes scanned the area. There were a few people on the sidewalk. A woman with a shopping bag. A man in a business suit. 2 teenagers with backpacks. Then John saw him. Against the wall, partially hidden in shadow, was a man. He was sitting with his legs stretched out. One leg looked wrong, swollen. The man's head was tilted back against the concrete. His eyes were half closed. He looked sick. Really sick. John knew immediately this was the person who drew the SOS. He also knew this man was homeless. The worn clothes. The dirty backpack next to him. The cardboard sign that said, "Please help." The light turned green. Cars behind John started honking. He should drive. He had a meeting. He had responsibilities. But John could not drive away. That SOS signal meant something. It meant this man was in serious trouble. John pulled his car to the right and parked in a loading zone. He did not care if he got a ticket. He turned off the engine and got out. A few people on the sidewalk noticed him. Their eyes got wide. John Cena was hard to miss. He was a big man with a recognizable face. But John ignored the stares. He walked straight to the man against the wall. As John got closer, he could see the situation was worse than he thought. The man's leg was badly swollen. Dark red and purple colors spread up from his ankle. This was an infection, a serious one. The man's skin looked gray. He was sweating even though the morning was cool. Fever. John knelt down next to the man. Some pedestrians stopped to watch. A few took out their phones to record. John ignored them all. He focused on the man in front of him. "Hey," John said gently.
"Hey, can you hear me?"
The man's eyes opened slowly. He looked at John but did not seem to really see him. His eyes were foggy with fever. "I saw your SOS," John said. "What do you need? What is wrong?" The man tried to speak, but his voice came out as a whisper. John leaned closer. "My leg," the man said. "Infected. I need help." "Okay," John said. "Okay, I am going to help you." "What is your name?" "Marcus," the man whispered. "Marcus Chen." "Marcus, my name is John," he said. "I am going to call an ambulance." "You need a hospital." Marcus tried to shake his head. "No money. Cannot pay." "Do not worry about that," John said firmly. "You are sick. You need help. That is what matters." John pulled out his phone and called 911. He gave them the location and described Marcus's condition. The operator said an ambulance would be there in less than 10 minutes. While they waited, more people gathered. Someone recognized John and word spread quickly. "That is John Cena. What is he doing? Is he helping that homeless guy?" People held up their phones, recording everything. John stayed focused on Marcus. He took off his jacket and put it under Marcus's head to make him more comfortable. He checked Marcus's pulse. It was fast and weak. "Not good, Marcus. Stay with me," John said. "Help is coming. Just stay awake." Marcus's eyes focused on John's face for the first time. Recognition slowly came into his eyes. You are that wrestler. On TV, John smiled. Yeah, that is me. But right now I am just a guy who saw your SOS signal. That was smart, by the way. Drawing that in the dirt. No one else saw it, Marcus said. His voice was so tired. I have been here for hours. Hundreds of people walked by. No one looked down. John felt a tightness in his chest. How many people had ignored this signal? How many people were too busy, too distracted, too uncomfortable to notice a man dying on the sidewalk? I saw it, John said. And I am here now. You're going to be okay. The ambulance arrived with sirens blaring. Paramedics jumped out with their equipment. They immediately went to work checking Marcus's vital signs. John stood back to give them room, but he did not leave. One of the paramedics looked up at Marcus's leg and said something to his partner. Their faces were serious. They moved quickly, starting an IV line and getting Marcus onto a stretcher. John heard them talking about sepsis and emergency surgery. We are taking him to County General, one paramedic said to John. Are you family? No, John said. But I found him. He was asking for help. Okay, well, we need to go now, the paramedic said. This is serious. They loaded Marcus into the ambulance. John stood there watching. He should let them go. He should get back to his car and go to his meeting. He had done his good deed. He called for help. That was enough. That was more than most people would do. But John thought about his father, about the military values he taught, about duty and honor and taking care of people. He thought about all the times he told his fans to never give up. Those were not just words on a t-shirt. They were supposed to mean something. John made a decision. Wait, he called out to the paramedics. I am coming with you. The paramedic looked surprised. Sir, you do not need to do that. We will take care of him. I know, John said. But I'm coming anyway. John climbed into the ambulance. One of the paramedics recognized him and her eyes went wide, but she said nothing. John sat down on the small bench and looked at Marcus on the stretcher. Marcus's eyes were closed now. The IV was running fluids into his arm. The ambulance doors closed and they started moving. Sirens wailed. John pulled out his phone and called his manager. I am not going to make the meeting, he said. What? John, you have to. These producers flew in just to meet with you. Tell them I am sorry, John said. Tell them something came up. An emergency. Reschedule for tomorrow. John, what is going on? I will explain later, he said. Right now I need to go. He hung up before she could argue. He looked at Marcus again. This man had drawn an SOS in the dirt, a cry for help that hundreds of people had ignored. But John had seen it, and now John could not just walk away. Something about this moment felt important. The ambulance rushed through the streets of Los Angeles. The sirens blared and cars moved out of the way. Inside, the paramedics worked quickly on Marcus. They checked his blood pressure. They listened to his heart. They looked at his infected leg and shook their heads. How long has this been like this? One paramedic asked Marcus. Marcus's eyes fluttered open. 3 weeks. Maybe 4. I lost track. 3 weeks? The paramedic looked concerned. You should have gone to a hospital much sooner. I know, Marcus whispered. I was scared. John listened from his seat. Scared. This man was dying from an infection because he was scared to go to the hospital. How many other people were out there in the same situation, too afraid to ask for help, too ashamed, too worried about money? They arrived at County General Hospital in less than 15 minutes. The ambulance doors flew open and the paramedics wheeled Marcus out fast. John jumped out after them. They rushed through the emergency room entrance and nurses came running. Male, approximately 50 years old, severe leg infection, possible sepsis. The paramedic called out as they moved. Fever of 103.6. Blood pressure low. Heart rate elevated. The nurses took over and wheeled Marcus into a treatment room. One nurse turned to John. Sir, you will have to wait in the waiting area. I am with him, John said. The nurse looked at John more closely. Her eyes widened. You are... Oh my goodness. You are John Cena. Yes, John said. But that does not matter right now. This man needs help. He does not have any family here. I do not want him to be alone. The nurse looked uncertain. I understand, but we need to work on him. The doctors need space. You can wait right outside the room if you want. I will update you. John nodded. Thank you. Please take care of him. He is a good man. The nurse smiled at that and went back into the room. John could hear them moving around, cutting away Marcus's pant leg, calling for the doctor, talking about antibiotics and IV fluids and possible surgery. John walked to the waiting area. It was early morning, so it was not too crowded yet. A few people were there, a woman holding a crying baby, an old man with a bandage on his hand, a teenage boy with his mother. They all stared at John when he sat down. John pulled out his phone. He had 20 missed calls, 15 text messages. His phone was blowing up. His manager, his publicist, his agent, everyone wanting to know where he was and what was happening. He sent a quick message to his manager. Had to help someone, emergency, I will explain later. Please reschedule everything for this morning. Then he turned off his phone. He needed to focus. A doctor came out after about 30 minutes. He was a young man, maybe in his early 30s. He looked tired but alert. Are you with Marcus Chen? John stood up. Yes, how is he? The doctor looked at John and recognition crossed his face. But he stayed professional. He is very sick. The infection in his leg has spread to his bloodstream. That is called sepsis. It is very dangerous. We are giving him strong antibiotics through his IV right now, but he needs surgery. The infection has created an abscess in his leg. We need to drain it and clean out the wound. Will he be okay? John asked. If we operate soon, yes, he should recover, the doctor said. But if he had waited much longer, maybe another day or two, this could have been fatal. John felt cold. Fatal. Marcus could have died. He almost did die. If John had not seen that SOS signal, if he had just driven past like everyone else, Marcus would have sat against that wall until it was too late. When will you operate? John asked. We are preparing the operating room now, the doctor said. Probably within the hour. We need to do this fast. Does he know? John asked. Did you tell him? Yes, the doctor said. He is awake and alert enough to give consent. He is scared, but he understands this is necessary. Can I see him before the surgery? John asked. The doctor hesitated. Are you family? No, John said honestly. I just found him this morning. He drew an SOS signal in the dirt and I saw it. I brought him here. He does not have anyone else. The doctor studied John's face for a moment. Then he nodded. 5 minutes. Follow me. John followed the doctor through the doors into the treatment area. They walked past several rooms with curtains. Finally, they stopped at one room. The doctor pulled back the curtain. Marcus was lying on a hospital bed. He looked small under the white sheets. IV lines ran into his arm. Monitors beeped beside him. His face was still gray with fever, but his eyes were open and clearer than before. Marcus, you have a visitor, the doctor said. 5 minutes. Then he left them alone. Marcus looked at John. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then Marcus's eyes filled with tears. Why did you stop? Marcus asked. His voice was rough. Why did you help me? John pulled a chair close to the bed and sat down. Because you asked for help. The SOS signal. I could not just drive past that. Everyone else did, Marcus said. Tears ran down his face now. Hundreds of people. No one looked down. No one cared. I looked, John said simply. And I cared. Marcus was crying harder now. Not loud crying, but the kind of crying that came from deep inside. The kind that held months of pain and loneliness and fear. I lost everything, Marcus said between sobs. My wife died cancer. We had no money left. The hospital took it all. Then I lost my job. Then my house. I have 2 kids, but I was too ashamed to call them. What kind of father becomes homeless? What kind of man loses everything? John reached out and put his hand on Marcus's shoulder. The kind of man who has bad luck. The kind of man who loved his wife so much he gave everything to try to save her. That is not shame, Marcus. That is love. I just miss her so much, Marcus said. Sarah. Her name was Sarah. We were married for 28 years. She was my best friend. When she died, I did not know how to keep living. I did not want to keep living. John listened. He did not interrupt. He just let Marcus talk. I sat under that overpass for 8 months, Marcus continued. I became invisible. People looked right through me like I was not even human. I had a sign asking for help, but signs do not work. There are too many homeless people. Too many signs. Everyone is asking for help and no one is listening. So you drew the SOS, John said. I was dying, Marcus said. I knew my leg was infected bad. I knew I needed a hospital. But I was so scared. Scared they would not help me because I am homeless. Scared they would ask for money I do not have. Scared they would treat me like I was nothing. The doctors here are helping you, John said. They do not care about money right now. They care about saving your life. Because you are here, Marcus said. He looked at John with a sad smile. Because John Cena brought me. If I came alone, would they care as much? John wanted to say yes. He wanted to believe that Marcus would get the same care either way. But he knew the truth. Having a celebrity with you changed how people treated you. It was not fair, but it was real. Maybe, John said honestly. Maybe not. But I am here now. And I am not leaving. They are going to operate on your leg and fix you up. And then we are going to figure out what comes next. Why? Marcus asked. Why do you care? You do not know me. You could have just called 911 and left. You could have gone to your meetings and your movie stuff. Why are you sitting here with me? John thought about the question. Why was he here? He had asked himself the same thing in the ambulance. He had a busy life, important things to do, but something about Marcus's situation had touched him. Maybe it was the SOS signal. Maybe it was thinking about his own father and the values he taught. Maybe it was all the times John told people to never give up, and now he had a chance to live those words. Because someone had to notice you, John said finally. Someone had to see that you are still a person who matters. You drew that SOS because you still want to live. You still want to fight. That takes courage, Marcus. Real courage. Marcus closed his eyes. More tears ran down his face. I do not feel brave. I feel like a failure. You are not a failure, John said firmly. You are a man who had a hard life. A man who lost his wife and got knocked down by bad luck. But you are still here. You are still fighting. That is not failure. That is survival. A nurse came in. I am sorry, but we need to prepare him for surgery now. John stood up. Marcus, I'm going to be here when you wake up, okay? You are not alone. Marcus opened his eyes and looked at John. Thank you. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for having the courage to ask for help, John said. They wheeled Marcus away toward the operating room. John watched him go. Then he walked back to the waiting area. He sat down in one of the uncomfortable plastic chairs. He turned his phone back on. It immediately buzzed with messages. His manager was calling again, John answered. Hey, John, what is going on? The producers are upset. Your publicist is freaking out. There are already photos online of you in an ambulance with a homeless man. People want to know what happened. Tell them the truth, John said. I saw someone who needed help and I helped him. That is it. No press release needed. No publicity. This is personal. John, you cannot just disappear from meetings without warning. I know, John said, and I apologize for that. But this man almost died today. If I had not stopped, he would be dead by tomorrow. So yes, I missed a meeting. And I would do it again. His manager was quiet for a moment. Okay, I will handle the producers.
How long will you be at the hospital?
I do not know, John said honestly. As long as it takes. He hung up and sat back in the chair. Other people in the waiting room kept staring at him. Some were trying to be sneaky about it. Others just stared openly. John was used to it. Fame meant never being anonymous. But right now, John was not thinking about fame. He was thinking about Marcus Chen. About a man who fell through the cracks of society. A man who became invisible. A man who drew 3 letters in the dirt as a last desperate cry for help. And John was thinking about all the people who walked past that SOS without looking down. How many other people were out there right now? Invisible and suffering. How many other silent cries for help were being ignored? John sat in that waiting room for 2 hours. He did not use his phone. He did not talk to anyone. He just waited. Finally, the doctor came out. The surgery went well, the doctor said. We cleaned out the infection and he should recover fully with antibiotics. He will be in recovery for a few hours, then we will move him to a room. John felt relief wash over him. Thank you. Thank you so much. He is lucky you found him, the doctor said. Another day and we might be having a very different conversation. John nodded. Lucky. Was it luck? Or was it meant to happen? John did not usually think about fate or destiny. But today felt different, like he was supposed to take that different route. Like he was supposed to stop at that red light at that exact moment. Like he was supposed to see that SOS John waited in the recovery area while Marcus woke up from surgery. Nurses came and went, checking monitors and adjusting IV lines. Finally, after what felt like forever, a nurse told John he could go in. Marcus was lying in the hospital bed with his eyes half open. He looked tired, but better than before. The gray color was leaving his skin. The fever was coming down. His leg was wrapped in clean white bandages. "Hey," John said softly as he walked in. "How are you feeling?" Marcus turned his head slowly. When he saw John, his eyes filled with tears again. "You stayed. I said I would," John said. He pulled a chair next to the bed. "The doctor said the surgery went well. They cleaned out all the infection. You are going to be okay." "I cannot believe this is real," Marcus said. His voice was hoarse from the breathing tube during surgery. "This morning I thought I was going to die under that overpass. Now I am in a hospital bed and John Cena is sitting next to me. This feels like a dream." "It is real," John said, "and you are going to recover. But Marcus, we need to talk about what happens after you leave the hospital." Marcus's face fell. "I go back to the streets. Back to the overpass. I have nowhere else to go, no," John said firmly. "That is not going to happen. Not if I can help it. But I need to know more about your situation. You said you have kids. Tell me about them." Marcus was quiet for a moment. Pain crossed his face, but it was not physical pain. It was the pain of shame and regret. "I have 2 children," Marcus said finally. "Jennifer is 30 years old. She is a teacher in Oregon. She teaches 3rd grade. She loves kids. She is married to a good man named David. They have a little girl, Emma. She is 5 years old. I have not seen my granddaughter in almost a year." John listened carefully. "What about your other child?" "Daniel, he is 28. He works as a mechanic in Nevada. He is good with cars, always has been. Even when he was a kid, he could fix anything. He is single. Works hard. Saves his money. Do they know where you are?" John asked. Marcus shook his head. "No. After Sarah died, after I lost everything, I was so ashamed. They both offered to help. They wanted me to come live with them. But I could not do it. I could not be a burden to my children. They have their own lives, their own problems. They do not need to take care of their broken father." "So you just disappeared?" John asked. "I stopped answering their calls," Marcus said. Tears ran down his face again. "I stopped returning their messages. Eventually they stopped trying. I told myself it was better this way. They could move on. They did not need me." John felt anger rise in his chest, but not at Marcus, at the situation, at the shame that made good people push away the ones who loved them, at a society that made people feel like asking for help was weakness. "Marcus, they did not stop caring," John said. "They stopped trying because they thought you wanted space. But I promise you they are worried sick. They probably think about you every single day." "How do you know?" Marcus asked. "Because they are your children," John said simply. "You do not stop loving your father just because he stops calling. You do not stop worrying. If anything, you worry more." Marcus covered his face with his hands. "What have I done? I am such a fool. I pushed away the only people who care about me." "Then let's fix it," John said. "Let me help you contact them. Let them know you are alive and safe." Marcus looked at John with fear in his eyes. "What if they hate me? What if they do not want to talk to me anymore?" "They will not hate you," John said. "They will be relieved. Trust me on this." John pulled out his phone. "What is your daughter's name again?" "Jennifer." "Jennifer Chen," Marcus said. "But I do not know if she still uses her maiden name. She might use her husband's name now." "We will find her," John said. He started searching on social media. After a few minutes, he found her profile. Jennifer Chen, 3rd grade teacher in Portland, Oregon. Her profile picture showed a smiling woman with dark hair and kind eyes. She looked like Marcus. "Is this her?" John showed Marcus the phone. Marcus stared at the picture and started crying harder. "Yes, that is my Jenny. She looks so much like her mother." John looked at the profile. It was private, but he could send a message. He thought about what to write. This needed to be done carefully. He could not just say, "Hey, your dad is homeless and almost died." That would be cruel. John decided to keep it simple. He typed out a message. "Hi, Jennifer, my name is John. I am writing to you about your father, Marcus Chen. He is safe and in a hospital in Los Angeles. He has been going through a very difficult time, but he is okay now. He would very much like to speak with you. If you can call this number, I can explain more. This is urgent, but he is not in immediate danger. Please call as soon as you can." John added his phone number and sent the message. Then he did the same thing to find Daniel and sent him a similar message. Now we wait, John said to Marcus. They will see the messages and they will respond. I promise you. Marcus was still crying. What if they do not believe it is real? What if they think it is a scam? I will verify it is me if they need proof, John said. I can do a video call or whatever they need. They sat in silence for a few minutes. A nurse came in to check on Marcus. She adjusted his pain medication and told him he needed to rest. John agreed to let Marcus sleep for a while. I'm going to step outside and make some calls, John told Marcus. But I will be right outside. I am not leaving. Marcus grabbed John's hand. Thank you. I do not know how to repay you for this. You do not need to repay me, John said. You just need to get better and reconnect with your family. That is all the payment I need. John walked out to the hallway. His phone immediately started buzzing. Messages from his manager, his publicist, his agent. Everyone wanted to know what was happening. Photos of John at the hospital were all over social media now. People were speculating about what he was doing there. John called his manager. Hey, I know you are busy, but I need to ask you something. John, what is going on? The media is going crazy. They want a statement. No statement, John said firmly. This is private. But I need your help with something else. The man I helped today, Marcus, he has been homeless. He needs a place to stay after he leaves the hospital. He cannot go back to the streets. Do you know any recovery facilities or programs that could help? His manager was quiet for a moment. You are really invested in this. Yes, I am, John said. So will you help me? Of course, she said. I know a few places through the foundation. Let me make some calls. How long will he be in the hospital? Probably a few days, John said. He had surgery for a bad infection. He needs antibiotics and recovery time. Okay, I will find something, she said. John, this is a good thing you are doing. But be careful. You cannot save everyone, and some people do not want to be saved. I know, John said. But Marcus asked for help. He literally drew an SOS signal. That means he wants to change. He just needs support. After hanging up, John sat in a chair in the hallway. He thought about what his manager said. She was right that he could not save everyone. But he could help one person. He could help Marcus. John's phone rang. It was a number he did not recognize with an Oregon area code. His heart jumped. He answered immediately. Hello? Is this John? A woman's voice, cautious and confused. Yes, this is John Cena. Are you Jennifer? Yes, I got your message. Is this real? Is this really about my father? Is he okay? John could hear the worry and hope in her voice. Yes, Jennifer. This is real. Your father is here at County General Hospital in Los Angeles. He is okay now, but he has been going through a very hard time. What happened? Where has he been? I have been looking for him for months. Her voice cracked with emotion. Jennifer, this is going to be hard to hear, John said gently. Your father has been homeless. He has been living on the street since he lost his house. He did not want to burden you or your brother. He was ashamed. Jennifer made a sound like a sob. Oh my God, I knew something was wrong. I knew it. When he stopped calling back, I thought maybe he just needed time after Mom died. But then months went by and I got so worried. I even called the police, but they said adults have the right to disappear. He did not want to disappear from you, John said. He loves you very much. He just did not know how to ask for help. But this morning he drew an SOS signal in the dirt. I saw it and brought him to the hospital. He had a serious infection that needed surgery. Can I talk to him? Jennifer asked. Please, I need to hear his voice. He is sleeping right now from the surgery, John said. But he wants to talk to you so much. He cried when he saw your picture. He misses you. He just needs you to know that he is sorry for pushing you away. I do not care about that, Jennifer said fiercely. I just want him to be okay. I want him back in my life. What hospital did you say? I am booking a flight right now. I will be there by tonight. County General in Los Angeles, John said. He gave her the room number. Jennifer, he is going to be so happy to see you. Thank you, Jennifer said. She was crying now. Thank you for helping my dad. Thank you for seeing him. For noticing. Oh my God, thank you. You are welcome, John said. He is a good man. He just had some bad luck. After they hung up, John felt warmth spread through his chest. Jennifer was coming. Marcus would see his daughter again. This broken family was starting to heal. John went back into Marcus's room. Marcus was awake, staring at the ceiling. When John walked in, Marcus looked at him hopefully. Did anyone respond? Marcus asked. John smiled. Jennifer called. She is booking a flight right now. She will be here tonight. Marcus's face crumpled. He covered it with his hands and his whole body shook with sobs. These were different tears, though. Not tears of sadness or shame. These were tears of relief and joy and hope. She does not hate me? Marcus asked through his tears. She loves you, John said. She has been looking for you for months. She was so worried. And now she is coming to see you. Marcus cried for a long time. John just sat there, giving him space to let it all out. All the pain, all the fear, all the loneliness of the past 8 months. Jennifer Chen arrived at County General Hospital at 8:30 that night. She had taken the first flight she could get from Portland to Los Angeles. She did not pack a bag. She did not tell her husband or her daughter where she was going at first. She just booked the ticket and went to the airport. All she could think about was her father. John was still at the hospital. He had stayed all day, only leaving Marcus's room to make phone calls or get coffee. The hospital staff knew who he was now, and they were trying to give him privacy. Some nurses asked for photos, but most respected that he was there for a serious reason. Marcus had slept on and off through the day. The pain medication made him drowsy, but whenever he woke up, John was there. They talked about many things. Marcus told John about his life with Sarah, their first date at a movie theater, their wedding in a small church, the births of their children, the happy years before cancer changed everything. John listened to all of it. He did not check his phone constantly like he usually did. He was present, fully there. His manager had handled all his appointments for the day. His publicist had put out a simple statement saying John was helping someone in need and requested privacy. The media was going crazy with speculation, but John did not care. Around 8 o'clock, Marcus's phone rang. It was the hospital phone they had set up in his room. Marcus answered it nervously. "Dad?" Jennifer's voice came through, breaking with emotion. "Jenny," Marcus said. His voice cracked. "Is it really you?" "I am in the lobby," Jennifer said. "I'm coming up right now. Room 412, right?" "Yes," Marcus said. Tears were already running down his face. "Jenny, I am so sorry." "I am so sorry. Just wait for me," Jennifer said. "I am coming." John stood up. "I'm going to give you two some privacy. I will be right outside." Marcus grabbed John's arm. "No, please stay. I want Jenny to meet you. To thank you." John nodded and sat back down. A few minutes later, they heard quick footsteps in the hallway. The door burst open and Jennifer rushed in. She was a small woman with dark hair pulled back in a ponytail. She wore jeans and a sweatshirt. Her face was red from crying. When she saw her father in the hospital bed, she let out a sob and ran to him. "Dad! Oh, Dad!" She threw her arms around him carefully, avoiding the IV lines and his bandaged leg. Marcus held his daughter and they both cried. Deep shaking sobs that came from months of worry and fear and love. John watched from his chair, feeling his own eyes get wet. This was why he stayed. This moment right here. This reunion. This healing. Jennifer finally pulled back and looked at her father. She touched his face, his hair, checking that he was real. "I was so scared. When you stopped calling, I thought something terrible happened. I called hospitals. I called the police. I did not know what to do." "I know," Marcus said. "I know, I'm so sorry. I was ashamed. I lost everything. The house, my job, all the money. I did not want you to see me like that. I did not want to be a burden." "A burden?" Jennifer's voice rose. "Dad, you are my father. You raised me. You took care of me my whole life. Did you think I would not do the same for you?" "I just felt like such a failure," Marcus said. "What kind of father ends up homeless?" "The kind who gave everything he had to save his wife," Jennifer said fiercely. "The kind who loved Mom so much he went broke trying to help her. That is not failure, Dad. That is love. That is sacrifice." She turned to look at John for the first time. Her eyes widened. "Oh my God, you really are John Cena. I thought maybe it was someone pretending." John stood up and smiled. "Yes, I am really me. And your father is very brave. He asked for help today. That is not easy to do." Jennifer walked over to John and without warning hugged him hard. "Thank you. Thank you for seeing him. Thank you for stopping. Thank you for staying with him. I do not know how to thank you enough." John hugged her back. "You do not need to thank me. I am just glad I saw the signal." Jennifer pulled back and wiped her eyes. "What signal?" Marcus spoke up from the bed. I drew SOS in the dirt. 3 big letters. I was so sick and I did not know what else to do. Hundreds of people walked past. No one looked down, but John did. He saw it and he stopped. Jennifer looked at John with wonder. You saw 3 letters in the dirt and you stopped your whole day to help? John shrugged. It was an SOS, that means emergency. I could not just ignore it. Most people did ignore it, Marcus said quietly, all morning long. People stepped over it, walked past it. I was invisible. Jennifer went back to her father's bedside and took his hand. You are not invisible to me. You are not invisible to Daniel. We love you. We have always loved you. How is Daniel? Marcus asked. Did John contact him too? Yes, Jennifer said. He is driving here from Nevada. He should arrive by morning. He wanted to fly, but there were no flights until tomorrow, so he is driving through the night. He is just as worried as I am. Marcus closed his eyes. My boy, my kids. I pushed you both away and you still came. Of course we came, Jennifer said. That is what family does. They talked for a long time. Jennifer told her father about Emma, his granddaughter, about how Emma asked about Grandpa all the time, about how Jennifer had to explain that Grandpa needed some time alone because he was sad about Grandma. Jennifer pulled out her phone and showed Marcus photos and videos of Emma. Marcus cried again seeing his granddaughter. She got so big. I missed so much. You will see her soon, Jennifer promised. As soon as you are better. She misses you so much. John watched them reconnect. He checked his own phone finally. His manager had texted saying she found a good recovery facility that had space for Marcus. It was a place that helped homeless individuals transition back to stable housing. They offered counseling, job placement help, and medical follow-up. John showed the information to Marcus and Jennifer. My manager found this place. It is a good facility. Marcus, when you leave the hospital, you can stay here while you recover and figure out next steps. Jennifer looked at the information. This looks expensive. Do not worry about that, John said. It is handled. We cannot let you pay for everything, Jennifer said. You have already done so much. It is not about the money, John said. It is about making sure Marcus gets the help he needs. Let me do this, please. Jennifer looked at her father. Marcus looked ashamed again. I cannot take your money, John. I already owe you my life. You do not owe me anything, John said firmly. Look, I am fortunate. I have more money than I need. I started a foundation to help people. But sometimes the best help is direct, one person to another. Let me help you get back on your feet. Then someday, when you are stable again, you can help someone else. That is how we make the world better. Marcus was quiet for a long moment. Then he nodded. Okay, thank you. I will pay it forward. I promise, John smiled. I know you will. A nurse came in to check on Marcus. She said visiting hours were technically over, but under the circumstances, she could let Jennifer stay. She brought in a reclining chair so Jennifer could sleep in the room with her father. John stood up to leave. I should go. You two need time together. Will you come back? Marcus asked. There was worry in his voice, like he was afraid this was the last time he would see John. Of course, John said. I will come back tomorrow. I want to meet Daniel too. Marcus reached out his hand. John shook it. Thank you, John, for everything. You saved my life. But more than that, you gave me hope. You made me feel human again. John squeezed his hand. You are human, Marcus. You always were. Sometimes we just need someone to remind us. John left the hospital room and walked down the hallway. Hospital staff nodded at him as he passed. A few people in the waiting area stared. One person asked for a photo and John politely said no, explaining he was here for something private. Outside, the Los Angeles night was cool and clear. John got in his car and sat there for a moment before starting the engine. He felt tired. It had been a long, emotional day. But it had also been one of the most meaningful days of his life. John thought about his morning. He thought about the different route he took because of construction. The red light where he stopped at exactly the right moment. The 3 letters in the dirt. The choice to stop instead of driving past like everyone else. Was it luck? Fate? Coincidence? John did not know, but he knew that Marcus was alive because of that series of small moments. And now Marcus would get to see his children again. He would get to hug his granddaughter. He would get a second chance at life. John started his car and drove back to his hotel. His phone buzzed constantly with messages, but he ignored them. Tomorrow he would deal with his work obligations. Tomorrow he would answer questions and do interviews and get back to his normal busy life. But tonight he just wanted to sit with the feeling of having done something truly important. Not signing autographs or making a movie or winning a wrestling match, but seeing someone who was invisible, stopping when everyone else passed by, being present when someone needed help. John got back to his hotel room and lay down on the bed. He did not turn on the TV. He just lay there in the quiet, thinking about Marcus and Jennifer and the power of family and second chances. His phone rang. It was his mother. John smiled. His mother always seemed to know when something important happened. "Hi, Mom," he answered. "John, I saw the news," she said. "They said you helped a homeless man today. Is that true?" "Yes," John said. "I found him this morning. He was really sick, but he is going to be okay now." "That is my boy," his mother said. Her voice was full of pride. "Your father would be so proud. You remembered what we taught you. To see people, to help when you can. That is more important than any movie or wrestling match." "Thanks, Mom," John said. "I did what anyone should do." "But most people do not do it," his mother said. "That is what makes you special, John. Not the fame or the money. The fact that you still see people as people. Never lose that." "I will not," John promised. After they hung up, John closed his eyes. He was exhausted, but it was a good exhaustion, the kind that came from doing something meaningful. He fell asleep thinking about Marcus's face when Jennifer walked into that hospital room. The joy, the relief, the love. That was what mattered. Not the cameras or the headlines or the speculation. Just that moment of reunion. Just a father and daughter finding each other again. And John had been lucky enough to make that happen by simply paying attention to 3 letters in the dirt. 6 months had passed since that morning when Marcus drew the SOS signal in the dirt. 6 months since John Cena stopped at a red light and changed everything. Marcus Chen stood in front of a small apartment building in a quiet neighborhood of Los Angeles. He held a set of keys in his hand, his own keys, to his own apartment. It was just a studio with 1 room, a small kitchen, and a bathroom. But it was his. Clean. Safe. Home. His leg had healed well. The scar was still there, a permanent reminder of how close he had come to dying, but the infection was gone. The doctors said he was lucky. Another day or 2 and the sepsis would have killed him. Marcus did not think it was luck, though. He thought it was grace, or maybe just one person who decided to pay attention. Marcus worked now. Not full-time yet, but part-time. He had found a job with a small construction company that specialized in making homes more accessible for elderly and disabled people. They installed ramps, grab bars, wider doorways. The work was lighter than his old construction jobs, easier on his aging body, but it felt meaningful. He was helping people stay in their homes safely. He understood now how important home was. The pay was not great, but it was enough. Enough to start saving again. Enough to pay Jennifer and Daniel back for helping with his first few months of rent. Enough to send toys to his granddaughter, Emma. Enough to feel like a person again instead of invisible. Marcus had also been seeing a therapist twice a week. At first, he did not want to go. Therapy was for crazy people, he thought. But Jennifer insisted, and the recovery facility John found required it. So Marcus went. And slowly he started to understand. He had depression. He had PTSD from the trauma of losing Sarah and becoming homeless. These were real medical conditions, not character flaws. The therapist helped him understand why he had pushed his children away. It was not just shame. It was also grief and fear and a feeling of being completely out of control. When everything was falling apart, pushing people away felt like the one thing he could control. It made no sense, but trauma rarely did. Marcus took medication now for the depression. It helped. The dark cloud that had followed him for so long was lifting. He could think clearly again. He could imagine a future again. He could smile again. Today was special. Marcus was going to give a talk at a community center downtown. It was a small event, maybe 40 or 50 people. Mostly other homeless individuals, social workers, volunteers who worked with homeless populations. Marcus had volunteered to share his story, to tell people that recovery was possible, that asking for help was not weakness. Jennifer and Daniel had both come to support him. Daniel had moved to Los Angeles to be closer to his father. He got a job at an auto repair shop and lived in an apartment a few miles away. They had dinner together every week. Slowly, carefully, they were rebuilding their relationship. Jennifer visited once a month with Emma. The little girl knew Grandpa now. She ran to him with hugs and showed him her drawings. Marcus cried the first time Emma called him Grandpa again. He had thought he would never hear that word again. Marcus drove to the community center in his car. His car. Another miracle. Daniel had helped him buy a used Honda. It was old and had high miles, but it ran well. Marcus had his license still, and now he had wheels. Independence. At the community center, people were setting up chairs in rows. A small stage at the front had a microphone. Marcus felt nervous. He had never been good at public speaking, but he had a story to tell, and maybe it would help someone. He signed in at the front desk. The woman there smiled at him. Marcus Chen, we are so glad you could come. Your story is very inspiring. Marcus did not feel inspiring. He felt like a normal man who had bad luck and then got help. But he smiled and thanked her. Jennifer and Daniel arrived together. Emma was with her father back at Jennifer's hotel, so it was just the three of them today. They found seats near the middle of the room. You nervous, Dad? Daniel asked. Very, Marcus admitted. What if I mess up? What if I cry? Then you cry, Jennifer said gently. This is your truth. However it comes out is the right way. People started filling the seats. Marcus saw all kinds of faces, young people and old people, different races and backgrounds. Some people looked homeless, worn clothes, tired eyes. Others looked like social workers or volunteers, clean cut, clipboard in hand. At exactly 3:00, the woman from the front desk took the microphone. She welcomed everyone and explained that today's speaker was Marcus Chen, a man who had experienced homelessness and recovered. She did not mention John Cena. Marcus had asked her not to. This was not about celebrity. This was about the real struggle and the real recovery. Marcus walked up to the small stage. His hands shook slightly as he adjusted the microphone. He looked out at the faces watching him. So many people, all waiting to hear what he had to say. Hi, Marcus started. His voice cracked. My name is Marcus Chen. 2 years ago I had a wife, a home and a job. I thought my life was stable. I thought I had everything figured out. Then my wife got cancer. Marcus told them everything. He told them about Sarah's sickness, about the medical bills that crushed them, about losing his job and his home, about the shame that kept him from asking his children for help, about the 8 months living under an overpass. I thought I was invisible, Marcus said. I thought no one saw me anymore. I was just another homeless person on the street, just another problem for people to ignore. I held up signs asking for help, but people walked past like I was not there. He told them about the infection in his leg, about the pain getting worse and worse, about knowing he was dying but being too afraid to go to the hospital. One morning I was so desperate that I drew 3 letters in the dirt, Marcus said. SOS, the distress signal. I thought maybe, just maybe, someone would see it and understand. Hundreds of people walked past that signal. No one looked down. No one stopped. I had almost given up hope. Marcus paused. His eyes found Jennifer and Daniel in the crowd. They were both crying, but they smiled at him with encouragement. Then one man stopped. Marcus continued. He saw those 3 letters and he understood. He did not just call 911 and drive away. He stayed with me. He rode in the ambulance. He sat in the hospital while I had surgery. He contacted my children who I had pushed away. He gave me hope again. Someone in the audience raised their hand. Was it really John Cena? The news said it was him. Marcus smiled. Yes, it was John, and yes, he is famous. But that is not why I am telling you this story. I am telling you because John did what anyone could do. He paid attention. He saw a signal asking for help and he responded. That is not about fame or money. That is about basic human decency. Marcus looked around the room. How many of you feel invisible? How many of you feel like no one sees you or cares? Many hands went up. Marcus felt his heart break looking at all those raised hands. I understand, Marcus said. I felt that way too. But I learned something important. We have to ask for help. We have to be brave enough to say I am struggling or I need help. Pride almost killed me. Shame almost killed me. Asking for help saved my life. He told them about the recovery facility, about therapy and medication for depression, about learning that mental illness was not a character flaw, about slowly rebuilding his life one small step at a time. I am not special, Marcus said. I am not a success story. I am just a regular man who got help when I needed it. But I want you to know that recovery is possible. Getting back on your feet is possible. It is hard. It takes time. You will have bad days, but it is possible. Marcus talked for 30 minutes. When he finished, the room was silent for a moment. Then someone started clapping. Then another person. Then the whole room was applauding. Some people were crying. Some people were smiling. After the talk, people came up to Marcus to thank him or ask questions. An older woman grabbed his hand. Thank you for being honest, she said. I have been living in my car for 4 months. I was too ashamed to tell my daughter. But hearing your story, maybe I can call her now. Call her, Marcus said firmly. I promise you, she wants to hear from you. My children were so relieved when I finally reached out. Do not waste time like I did. A young man, maybe 25, approached nervously. How did you stop feeling ashamed? I am homeless and I feel like such a failure. Marcus looked at him with understanding. I still feel ashamed sometimes. It does not just go away, but my therapist taught me something. She said shame is thinking I am bad and guilt is thinking I did something bad. Shame is toxic. It keeps us stuck. Guilt can be useful if it motivates us to change. But being homeless does not make you bad. It just means you had bad circumstances. The young man nodded, tears in his eyes. After everyone left, Marcus sat down with Jennifer and Daniel. They were both proud of him. Jennifer hugged him tight. Dad, that was amazing. You are helping people. I hope so, Marcus said. If even one person calls their family or goes to a shelter because of what I said, then it was worth it. As they left the community center, Marcus saw someone standing by the entrance. A tall, muscular man in a baseball cap and sunglasses. Marcus's heart jumped. He would recognize that figure anywhere. John Cena had come. He had been sitting in the back row the whole time, quiet and unnoticed. Marcus walked over quickly.
John, you came.
John took off his sunglasses and smiled. Of course I came. You think I would miss your first speech? They hugged. A real hug between friends. That was powerful, Marcus, John said. You are going to help a lot of people with that story. Only because you helped me first, Marcus said. John shook his head. No, you saved yourself. You drew that SOS. You had the courage to ask for help. I just happened to be paying attention. Jennifer and Daniel came over. They had met John several times over the past 6 months. At first, it was strange having a celebrity in their lives. But John always made it clear he was just a friend, just someone who cared about their father. We are going to get dinner, Jennifer said. John, will you join us? John hesitated. I do not want to intrude on family time. You are family now, Marcus said simply. Please come, John smiled. Okay, but I am buying. And before you argue, Marcus, I am using my wrestling voice. That means you cannot say no. They all laughed. They went to a small Italian restaurant nearby. Nothing fancy. Just good food and good conversation. They talked about everything. Daniel told a funny story about a customer at the auto shop. Jennifer showed photos of Emma's recent ballet recital. John talked about his upcoming movie shoot. But mostly they just enjoyed being together. 4 people who had become friends through an unlikely circumstance. A homeless man, a celebrity, and 2 children who got their father back. After dinner, they stood outside the restaurant. The Los Angeles night was cool. Stars were barely visible through the city lights. I need to tell you something, Marcus said to John. I started a small fund, just $20 from each paycheck. When I have enough saved, I'm going to use it to help other homeless people. Nothing big. Maybe buy someone a meal. Maybe help someone get an ID so they can get a job. I want to pay forward what you did for me. John's eyes got misty. Marcus, that is perfect. That is exactly what I hoped you would do. You taught me that we make the world better one person at a time, Marcus said. You saw me when everyone else looked away. Now I'm going to make sure I see others. John hugged Marcus again. I am proud of you, my friend. So proud. They said their goodbyes. John had an early call time tomorrow. Jennifer and Daniel were driving Marcus back to his apartment. As they walked to their cars, Marcus looked back at the community center. 6 months ago, he was dying on a street. Invisible, hopeless, ready to give up. Now he had a home, a job, his children back in his life, friends, purpose, hope. All because one person stopped at a red light and looked down at the dirt. All because one person decided that an SOS signal was worth his time. All because one person refused to let him be invisible. Marcus got into Daniel's car. As they drove through the streets of Los Angeles, Marcus saw homeless people on corners, holding signs, sitting against walls. He made a silent promise to each one he saw. I see you. You matter. You're not invisible. The next morning, Marcus went to visit Sarah's grave. He had not been there since before he became homeless. He brought fresh flowers, her favorite yellow roses. He knelt down beside the headstone and traced her name with his finger. Sarah Chen, beloved wife and mother. Hi, baby, Marcus said softly. I am sorry it took me so long to visit. I was lost for a while. I forgot how to live without you. I gave up on everything, even myself. He placed the flowers gently on the grave. But I am okay now, Marcus continued. I found my way back. It was hard. I almost did not make it. But someone helped me. Someone saw me when I felt invisible. And now I am living again. Really living. Tears ran down Marcus's face, but they were not only sad tears. They were also grateful tears. Jennifer and Daniel are back in my life, Marcus said. Emma knows who her grandpa is. I have a home. I have a job. I am helping other people who are struggling. I am trying to make you proud. The wind blew gently through the cemetery. Marcus imagined it was Sarah listening to him. Proud of him. Happy that he found his way. I will never forget you, Marcus promised. But I am going to keep living. For both of us. I am going to make every day count. I'm going to notice people who feel invisible. I am going to be the one who stops and helps. Because someone did that for me and it saved my life. Marcus stayed at the grave for a while longer, talking to Sarah about everything. About John, about the speech. About his new life. Finally, he stood up and kissed his fingers, then touched them to her headstone. I love you, he said, always. As Marcus walked back to his car, he noticed a woman sitting on a bench near the cemetery entrance. She was older, maybe in her 60s. She had a small suitcase next to her and a cardboard sign that said, "Hungry, please help." Marcus stopped. He looked at the woman. Really looked at her. She had gray hair and tired eyes. Her clothes were worn. Her shoes had holes. Marcus reached into his pocket and pulled out his wallet. He had $20. It was supposed to be his lunch money for the week. But he had food at home. He would be fine. He walked over to the woman. She looked up at him with suspicion, like she expected him to yell at her or tell her to move. Hi, Marcus said gently. My name is Marcus. Are you okay? The woman's eyes filled with tears at the simple question. No one ever asks if I am okay. They just pretend I am not here. I know, Marcus said. I was invisible too for a while. I understand. He handed her the $20. This is for you. Please get yourself some food. The woman stared at the money. Why are you helping me? Marcus smiled. Because someone helped me when I needed it. And now I am passing it forward. The woman started crying. Thank you. God bless you. Marcus sat down on the bench next to her. What is your name? Linda, she said. Nice to meet you, Linda, Marcus said. Can I ask you something?
Do you have family?
Anyone you can call? Linda looked away. I have a son, but I have not talked to him in a year. I am too ashamed. Marcus's heart squeezed. This story was so familiar. Linda, call your son, please. I promise you, he wants to hear from you. I pushed my children away too. I thought I was protecting them from my problems. But all I did was make them worry more. Linda looked at Marcus. You think he would want to talk to me? I know he would, Marcus said firmly.
Give him a chance.
Let him help you. Marcus pulled out one of his new business cards. It just had his name and phone number. If you need help finding resources, call me. I can point you in the right direction. Shelters, food banks, recovery programs. You do not have to do this alone. Linda took the card with shaking hands. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you for seeing me. You are not invisible, Linda, Marcus said. You matter. Remember that. Marcus walked to his car. As he drove away, he looked in the rearview mirror. Linda was still sitting on the bench, holding the $20 and his business card. He hoped she would call her son. He hoped she would ask for help. That was all Marcus could do. See people, offer help, plant seeds of hope. Just like John had done for him 6 months ago, Marcus drove through the streets of Los Angeles. The city looked different to him now. Before, when he was homeless, the city felt hostile, cold, dangerous. Now it felt full of possibility. Full of people with stories. Full of chances to make a difference. At a red light, Marcus looked down at the sidewalk. No SOS signals, just normal dirt and concrete. But Marcus would always remember those 3 letters he drew. The desperate cry for help that one person answered. The light turned green. Marcus drove forward into his new life. A life with purpose. A life with hope. A life where he would make sure that no one felt invisible. Not if he could help it, because that was the real lesson. That was what John Cena had taught him. We make the world better by paying attention. By stopping when others pass by. By seeing people as people, not problems, one person, one moment, one choice to help. That was how the world changed. That was how lives were saved. That was how Marcus Chen went from invisible to visible again, and now he would spend the rest of his life making sure others knew they were visible too.